Thank you. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shuddhavadi Pastacha Deshatarane Vancha Kalpatubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Prayesha Baddeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharma Jnana Saha Kalo Nashtade Shamesha Paranako Dhunodita Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Today we're very fortunate to be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 11. Yutyuktastam vihayendro devashem munayan vacha anantapriya bhaktainam parikarmya divam yayo. Iti thus ukta addressed tam her vihaya, releasing Indra, the king of heaven, Devarishi, the saint Narada Muni, Manayan, honoring Vachaha, the words Anantapriya, for one who is very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhaktya, by devotion, Enam, this woman, Parikramya, circumambulating, Dibbam, to the heavenly planets, Yayo, returned. Translation: when the great sage Narada Muni had thus spoken, King Indra, being respectful to Narada's words, immediately released my mother. Because of my being a devotee of the Lord, all the demigods circumambulated her. Then they returned to their celestial kingdom. Report by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although King Indra and the other demigods were exalted personalities, they were so obedient to Narada Muni that the King Indra immediately accepted Narada Muni's words concerning Prahlad Maharaj. This is called understanding by the parampara system. Indra and the demigods did not know that a great devotee was in the womb of Kayadu, the wife of Hiranyakashipu. But they accepted the authoritative statements of Narada Muni and immediately offered their respects to the devotee by circumambulating the woman in whose womb he was living. To understand God and the devotee by the parampara system is the process of knowledge. There is no need to speculate about God and his devotee. One should accept the statements of a bona fide devotee and thus try to understand. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Shishtam Manumapi Sachiputramatra Sarupam Rupam Tasya Gajamurapurim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhikamadhavasam Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vande Nantadvadeshayam Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nichopi Yat Prasadat Sad Bhakti Shastra Pavartaka Nityananda Maham Nomi Sarvananda Karam Param Harinama Padam Devam Navaduta Shiromani Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namah Taptakanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Pancha Kopatubhishta Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So what is happening here? The demigods attacked the city of the demons and captured the wife of Hiranyakashipu, Kayadu, in whose womb Prahlad Maharaj was situated. They captured the woman, they're going to kill her. And Narada Muni appeared in the scene. No, he said, you can't kill a woman, this is sinful. They said, we're not going to kill her. We want to wait until the child is born and we'll kill the child because it is the seed of the demon Hiranyakashipu. So Narada Muni instructed them, you can't kill this child because he's a great Mahabhagavat. Not possible to kill him. He's protected by the Lord. Just like Maharaj Parikshit in the womb of Uttara was protected by the Lord. He's called Vishnu Ratha. That Ashwatthama sent a Brahmashtra to kill Parikshit Mad within the womb of Uttara. And Lord came personally and protected. And he's called Parikshit because of his having darshan of the Lord within the womb of his mother. So there's a similar situation. Narada Muni is appearing to protect this great devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, who had appeared in the family of Daityas, the son of Hiranyakashipu. So Narada Muni instructed them, and because of Narada Muni's status as a great devotee, as a Mahabhagavat, even the demigods are being submissive to a pure devotee. And this is indication of what position a pure devotee has in the strata of different types of personalities within the construction of the universe. That a pure devotee holds topmost position. He is respected by everyone. Of course, demons, that's another thing. The demons don't, they don't respect anything or anyone. They only respect power. Might is right. But they're respecting Narada Muni. He's asking them, no, he's instructing them. This child within the womb of Kayadu is a great devotee. And they're accepting his instruction. This is very important principle. Prabhupada calls it here, this understanding. This is called understanding by the parampara system. They're accepting authority greater than their own. And if we want to become knowledgeable, if we want to understand our position in this world, then we have to accept the same principle that we pray, Oma Jnana Timirandasya, Jnananjana Shalakya, that I'm born in the darkest of ignorance, and my Guru Maharaj has forced open my eyes with the torch of knowledge. And this is the effect of bhakti. We read in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, Vajatam Priti Purvakam, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, Jainamam Ubhiyantite, Tesham Evanukam Partam, Amagyana Jamtama Nasham Yatma Babasto Gyana Dipena Basvata. That to that person who is always engaged, Satata Yuktanam, in the Lord's service, Lord reciprocates. He says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I give knowledge by which you can come to me. Because bhakti isn't just a mental exercise, a dead-end street. Rather, there's reciprocation with the Lord. Yeyatamam prabhadyante tamstataiva bhajamyaham. As we offer our life, our service, our everything to the Lord, his reciprocation is this. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give you the knowledge, the understanding by which you can come to me. How? Next verse says, Tesham eva anukampartam. By my mercy, anukampartam. I destroy with the torchlight of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. And we're all born in ignorance. How to come free from ignorance? We have to hear from the Lord. And what is the most efficacious process of hearing? Is to hear in parampara. What is the process of knowledge? This is called epistemology. In English, it's called epistemology. How to know what we know. Can we know what we know by the imperfect process, the ascending process of knowledge? It's not possible to get perfect knowledge in this way. Why? Because our instrument for achieving knowledge are imperfect. 4 defects every human being has. That we have imperfect senses. We make mistakes. We're illusioned. And we have cheating propensity. So how to get perfect knowledge? If examine your senses. If there's no light of the sun or there's no incandescent light, can we see even our own hand in front of our face? Can we even see our own eyelid? How imperfect our sense of sight is. How far distant can we hear? How much can we taste, touch? If we examine all of our senses, they're very, very imperfect and they're limited. There's only a certain spectrum of light we can see. There's only a certain sensitivity, tactile sensitivity, we can experience touch. All of our senses, all our hearing also. There's only a certain wavelength of sound that we can hear. Like what do they call dog whistle? They blow on the whistle. The dog can hear it. We can't hear it. We can't hear anything. So all of our senses are imperfect. How to get perfect knowledge? With a telescope? What is a telescope? It's just an extension of the eye, of the imperfect eye. And can we see outside of this universe? There's billions of universes. Prabhupada likened them to a tiny mustard seed in a quintal bag, a 200 kg bag of mustard seeds. Billions of mustard seeds are there. So this universe is a tiny little speck of in the creation, a fragment, a quarter of the creation of God. And in that creation, there's billions of universes, and in every universe, there's billions, trillions of planets. How much can we see? What is possible to see and experience with our eye? So people, the science, so-called science, becomes very, very proud. Oh, we've seen the galaxy, we've seen the Milky. There's trillions of Milky Ways. What can you see with your Hubble telescope? How much can you see? How much can you hope to see? Our eye is limited, and this telescope is simply an extension of the eye. Similarly, when we have electron microscope, we can see an atom. But can you understand what is a neutron? What is a proton? What is an electron? What is it? That they can't say. They can look in infinitesimally small substance, and they can look millions of miles into the galaxy, but still Krishna is far, far away. Atma is far, far away. Our own self is far, far. The closest thing to ourself is ourself. And the self, the Atma, remains far, far away because they try to understand with imperfect senses. And the cheating propensity is there. Out of pride, science makes all these different proclamations that we have understood that our forefathers were monkeys. Probably would say, maybe your father was a monkey. My father was not. My forefathers, my ancestors were not monkeys. Maybe yours was, but mine was not. Prone to make mistakes. They gather insufficient knowledge with limited senses, and they make a conclusion. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. They try and understand by this imperfect process of deduction. How to understand? Can we understand from news media? News media is a complete manipulation of the minds of the sheep-like people, the sheeple of Kali Yuga, who believe anything they read in the newspaper, anything they see in the television, anything they read on their mobile phone. Oh, this is the truth. They elect politicians in the same way. Who has the nicest smile? Who is the most charming personality? Do they have any solutions to the problems of the world? Do they have any solution to war? Do they have any solution to drug abuse, to crime? No, they just make jokes and rag each other, throw mud at each other, and hope to win the election. The world is headed for a very difficult place because of this, because no one has any solution, because they're not hearing from parampara. They're not hearing the actual solutions to the problems of life. And what is the main problem? Sometimes in a gathering of devotees, I ask people, what is the real problem of life? And they say, well, we have to die. Okay, that's a problem. We become disease. That's also a problem. War, disease, pestilence, poverty, drug abuse, these are all problems. But what is the root cause of all of these problems? Is that we've been born into this material world, in this nasty material world. And we forget that. How to awaken our understanding of who we are, what is this world, what is the purpose of life, who is God, who am I, what am I doing here, how did I get here, and how do I get out? Parampara. Nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. There is no alternative. To hear from authority, to hear knowledge coming down to us, a paroshaya that is descending knowledge, If we try and ascend to the truth, the empiric process, to ascend to knowledge, we'll always be frustrated and we'll always reach a wrong conclusion. How to understand something? Parampara. And this is Krishna's solution. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu sakala neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. The Lord himself comes periodically to establish this system of parampara. To set, why? Yoga nashta parantapa. Because the nature of the material world is that everything is in decay. Everything falls apart. Take a nice shiny piece of steel and you put it in the elements, what happens to it? It rusts. It becomes pitted and rusty, and they just throw it away. What happens to your bright, shiny new car? And you're so happy. New car smell. See my new car, nice and bright and shiny, and spam, someone someone runs into your new car. But it's going to wear out. The brakes are going to wear out. The transmission is going to break. The rings in your piston are going to start leaking oil, and oil smoke's going to come out of your it's going to wear out. Our own body is going to wear out. These things, there is no solution for except what we find in the instructions of Shastra that comes to us by parampara. The Shastra vidamuchaja vartate kama karata. Na sasiddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. That if we reject Shastra that comes to us by the grace of Guru, by the grace of parampara, this pristine, pure, transcendental knowledge that we're blessed to have comes to us by parampara. And if we reject that, what? Na siddhim, no perfection. Na param gatim, you can't go back to Godhead. Na sukham, you can't even be happy in this world. If we reject Shastra, why is Shastra there? Why is Shastra Vidya there? Just to give us trouble? No, you can't do this, you can't do this. No, 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 no. Spiritual life isn't just about no, no, no. We have to follow that. Otherwise, we can't get to the platform of yes, yes, yes. What does that mean? Shastra Vidya regulates our activities in life. That you can't be a materialistic person addicted to sense gratification and expect spiritual realization. You can't expect to come to the stage of, yes, I want Krishna. Yes, I love to chant his name. Yes, I only eat prasadam. Yes, I love to visit the temple. Yes, I love to serve Vaishnavas and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We can't get to that spontaneous stage of raga, of rati, of feeling for Krishna, if we don't pass beyond the vidhis, the restrictions that are given to us in Shastra for a purpose to elevate us. That comes to us by parampara. And this is what makes Narada Muni an authority. He's our guru. He has amazing disciples. Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Vyasadev. He has amazing disciples. And what makes him an authority, what makes him a guru, is that he's following parampara. What makes anybody a guru, qualified to be a guru, is they're presenting parampara. They're crystal clear via medium for the truth. Not adding anything, not subtracting anything. Srila Prabhupada gave a nice example. He said, just like a postman, he delivers you, he puts your letter in your hand. Here's your letter, sir. Here's your letter, ma'am. He doesn't open it with a big black magic marker, starts crossing things out or starts adding to it. No, that's not what it means. This is what it means. He says, here is your letter. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is the secret to my success, that I never changed anything. Now someone may say, oh, Prabhupada did things very differently than Gaudiya Math. Yes, he changed substance, but he never changed. He didn't change. He changed the presentation, but he didn't change substance. For example, in a wedding, there's a priest, a venue, there's food, there's entertainment, there's invitations, there's decorations. These things are all negotiable. But what is the substance of a wedding? There has to be a boy and there has to be a girl. Otherwise, there's no wedding. everything else is negotiable. So Prabhupada never changed substance, but he changed the exterior. He allowed women, for example, to live in the temple. This is unheard of in any ashram in the history of Vaishnavism. It's unheard of. Prabhupada adjusted the principle to serve the principle of substance, of how to promote Krishna consciousness. He strictly restricted association between brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, but he adjusted for the service of the principle of preaching Krishna consciousness. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur perfectly embodied the principle we read about in Shastra, in Nectar Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anasaktasya prapanchikateya buddha hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshavi purityago valgum vairagyam kartate. Anasaktasya vishayan yatarmu upayunchita. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhi yuktam vairagyam uchata. Yuktam vairagyam means let me accept anything that is positive in the Lord's service and reject anything that is not. Not to be falgu vairagi, false renunciate. Prabhupada would give the example of a person offering money to a sadhu. No, 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 I don't touch money. He said, this isn't Vaishnavism. A Vaishnava sadhu knocked on the door of a charitable man, said, please give me some donation. So the man gave him nice donation. A few days later, the sadhu was knocking on the door again, said, can you please give some donation? I just gave you a donation. What'd you do? I already spent for Krishna. You please give some more. We're not afraid to touch money. We want money because we know what to do with it, not for sense gratification, for the satisfaction of the Lord, for promoting the Sankirtan mission. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur understood this principle perfectly, and he taught Srila Prabhupada the same thing, and Srila Prabhupada taught us this is parampara. You see picture of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, beautifully dressed in full-length tailored coat with pugri and patent leather shoes, sitting in Model T Ford in Mayapur. Unheard of. The system, the restriction at the time was a sannyasi should only wear uttariya and lungi and chadar and barefoot, not even wearing shoes. And Saraswati Thakur is wearing patent leather shoes, sitting in a Model T Ford, horseless carriage. Sannyasi was not permitted to even ride a bicycle. What to speak of a horseless carriage? This is Saraswati Thakur. Why? For his prestige? For his puja labha pratishta? No, to bring respectability to Gaudiya Math. Why? Because at the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to be a Vaishnava was considered to be no less than a beggar, some kind of reprobate personality, unable to control their senses. So his prayer to the Lord was, you send me one of your own entourage, a member of your own entourage, to help me establish Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. We pray to Rupa Goswami. So Saraswati Thakur was intimate associate of Rupa Goswami and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he established the respectability of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He was inviting viceroys and British royalty to come to Mayapur and sitting them at the table with sannyasis to bring respectability to Krishna consciousness. So there's a great lesson there. Sometimes people would criticize Prabhupada. They would say, oh, you're renouncing the world. You say the whole world is false. It's all Maya, but we see you're using airplanes. You're using the printing press. You're using automobiles. You're building buildings. You have bank accounts. You're nicely dressed. Why you say it's all Maya? It is Maya, but Maya is also Krishna's energy, and it can be used for Krishna's purpose. And this is the principle of an actual renunciation. This is the principle that's taught to us through parampara, taught to us how to preach Krishna consciousness, to have the authority to represent parampara. to bring honor, to bring respectability to Krishna consciousness. So this is an important principle for us to understand also in our preaching work, in our temples. Prabhupada, I was just listening to a lecture this morning. Srila Prabhupada was saying, every corner of the temple is Krishna. It's not just the deity. Deity, we understand as Krishna. We bow down to the deity, we worship the deity, we offer arati, we cook for the deity, we dress the deity, we offer fruits and flowers. But Prabhupada said every corner of the temple is Krishna. So temple is a place the public comes. If the public comes to our temple and it's dirty, disheveled, devotees are spaced out wearing raggedy clothes with holes in it and turmeric stains and hasn't been washed for a week, what will they think? These people are a bunch of beggars. Devotees should be dressed first class, respectably dressed. The temple should be spotless. Deity should be nicely worshipped. This is preaching. Preaching doesn't mean just giving a Bhagvatam class, going out and just, doing Bhakti Briksha program, out on Bhakti Briksha preaching. I mean, everything we do should be preaching to instill the public that this is a wonderful thing. This Krishna consciousness is these are wonderful people. These are saintly people. This is preaching Krishna consciousness. And this is renunciation to do it. Spending lakhs and crores of rupees to build big, huge, beautiful temples, to publish books, to distribute prasadam. This isn't the business of foolish people. This is a business of pure devotees who understand that everything in this world is a property of the Lord and is meant for his satisfaction. So this is what we learn from our acharyas. Prabhupada writes here, no need to speculate. No need to speculate what is true, what is not true. We're getting absolute truth coming to us by parampara. Atap Bhagavatam says, Atapi te deva padam bhujam tvaya prasada leshanu grihita eb hijana tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya ekopi nachiram nachinvan. That how we get Krishna. How can we approach Krishna? Through parampara. And how does that mercy, how does that prasada lesha come to us? Through our guru, through parampara. If you lose faith in your guru, you lose everything. Yes, Prabhupada said the most important, most often quoted verse, Srila Prabhupada spoke, Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyaiti katita yarta prakashante mahatmana. That everything is revealed in the heart of that great soul who has absolute faith in his guru and in the Supreme Lord. So how do we touch guru? How do we touch the Supreme Lord? By hearing from them, by hearing their instruction that is coming in parampara. The chanya ekopi and the chiram navinja. That no need to speculate, no need to make up stories, no need to change things. This is very, very dangerous. I'll give you an example that I found very disturbing. I won't mention names, but there is a sannyasi in our society. He has disciples also. And he is preaching that we shouldn't preach no illicit sex. We should preach no casual sex. There's a big difference between no illicit sex and no casual sex. One can be living with a person in a committed relationship but not married and enjoying one's senses. This is not casual sex, but it is illicit sex. Unless you're married and you're trying to have a child, then anything else is described in Shastra. It's not Prabhupada's fanaticism, as some people foolishly accuse. This is in Shastra, in 11th canto, twice in the 7th canto. It describes exactly what Prabhupada taught. So if someone can't follow, that's another thing. We don't reject you. We love you. You're a devotee. We want you. We want your association. You're a rare soul. But don't change the principles. Don't change Shastra. Don't change what Prabhupada taught. Don't change what Shastra taught. Illicit sex means sex outside of marriage for physical enjoyment. This is illicit sex. Casual sex is a different thing. It's a subtle difference, but it is a difference. And we shouldn't change the instructions of Shastra, and they change instructions of Srila Prabhupada, posing to be a disciple. What right have you got to change the instructions of your guru? This is an offense. And think about it. If we change the knowledge we receive in Parampara, what will it be in 5, 6, 10 generations of devotees? Yes, Guru Maharaj, I I agreed to follow the two the two principles. I won't gamble and I won't eat meat. And I'll chant my 4 rounds every day. Could it happen? It definitely can happen. Many changes have come to our society just in one generation, and this is an example of one of them. So parampara, the purport of parampara is don't change anything. It's not parampara if you change it. We repeat the instructions we get from parampara. Then we get prasada leshana grihita evi. Then we're qualified for the mercy of the Lord. We're qualified prakashante mahatmana. You're a great soul if you don't lose faith in the instructions of your guru. If you don't change the instructions of your guru. So this is a very important thing. Guru comes in parampara. No parampara, then you're bogus. What is the qualification to be guru? That you come in parampara. There's 4 of them. And if you don't belong to one of them, you're not a guru. You're a speculator. You're a rascal. You're a cheat. Big cheater. Sampradaya vihinaste mantraste nishpalamata. Shastra says that if the mantra you receive is not coming to you in parampara, it has no nishpalamata, it will not bear any fruit. For example, all of the Gayatri mantras that we chant, second initiated devotees chant, are written in Prabhupada's books. They're all there. So if you just extract them from the purports, put a thread in your shoulder and start chanting the mantras, you will not get the fruit. You have to get it from your guru. Coming in, parampara. This is the importance of parampara. Our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. This is important principle for ISKCON devotees. He is our link to the parampara. The preeminent, quote unquote, from the GBC document, are the preeminent Siksha Guru for all ISKCON devotees. There's no need to go searching for a guru. One vastly unfortunate person asked Srila Prabhupada one. He was initiated disciple of Prabhupada. And he approached Srila Prabhupada, said, Srila Prabhupada, please bless me to find a bona fide spiritual master. Can you imagine saying that to Srila Prabhupada? Such a blind person, such a vastly unfortunate person. Please bless me to find a bona fide spiritual master. This is like a person who's living on the banks of Radhakund. And he leaves Radhakund to go searching for a holy place. Radhakund, topmost holy place. You're there. You've achieved perfection. You're there. No need to go look for some holy place. You're living in a holy place. So we're very, very fortunate to have a connection with Srila Prabhupada. There's a nice story. My esteemed godbrother, his name is Bibi Govinda Maharaj. At the time, his name was Ayodhyapati Das Brahmachari. He did extreme sacrifice, cooking over a chula, clay stove, in the heat, the blazing heat of Vrindavan summers, cooking for devotees. Big stoves, mass cooking. He was the head cook for several years. Great devotee. So that there was a time in our society, there was some animosity between different devotees. But he was fortunate to meet Srila Prabhupada's beloved godbrother, Srila Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And he was very surprised to see him. Oh, Krishnadas Babaji, Srila Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, please accept my humble dandavat. He bowed down to him. And seeing that he was holding a tape recorder, Babaji Maharaj began to sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he sang for some minutes and then he stopped. And he said to Maharaj, Bibi Govinda Maharaj, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I'm an old man. I've seen many things in my life, but your Guru Maharaj was the greatest acharya the world has seen. The greatest acharya the world has seen. Why? Because of his absolute faith in the holy name and his spreading the chanting of the holy name all over the world. Why is anyone in Africa chanting Hare Krishna? In China, in America, in Europe? Only because of Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Only because of his effort. So because of this, because he had so much faith, such intimate understanding, intimate relationship with the holy name, he was able to spread it to every town and village, fulfilling the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the manobishtam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pritibhite yacha jatanagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe more nam. That my name will be spread all over the world in every town and village. This is the manobishtam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The manobishtam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not to sit in a sacred place chanting for your own personal benefit. His manobishtam is that the chanting of Krishna's name be distributed to every town and village of the world. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. And who fulfilled that? By parampara, Srila Prabhupada, our preeminent Siksha Guru. And devotees should identify Prabhupada as their Guru. Siksha, and Srila Prabhupada writes, and look it up, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first chapter, Guru Tattva, verse 34. Prabhupada writes that Siksha and Diksha Guru are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna. Every ISKCON devotee has Prabhupada as their Siksha Guru, delivered by Siksha Guru, blessed by Diksha Guru, blessed by both by Siksha Guru. Krishna's manifestation, Krishna blessing every ISKCON devotee with the instructions coming in parampara through Srila Prabhupada. Whose books are we reading? They're reading Prabhupada's books in Gaudiya Math also. They're reading Prabhupada's books in Ramanuja's Sampradaya. Because Prabhupada changed the history of human race by his preaching. So we should all identify ourselves. It's not just, they say, oh, you're a Prabhupada disciple. It's because it's like a catchphrase, Prabhupada disciple. Of course, how many of us are even left? But you're all Prabhupada. You should identify yourself as Prabhupada disciple. You're all Prabhupada disciples also, because you're following him. You're hearing from him in parampara. That doesn't mean when I'm saying this, it doesn't mean you're jumping over your Diksha Guru. You're also eternal. Chakhudan Diloje Janme Janme Prabhu say. We sing this about Prabhu, and is also relevant to your Diksha Guru. Don't lose faith in your Diksha Guru, because he's representing Srila Prabhupada. And if he's not, then you should not hear from him. Because Prabhupada is the benchmark. You understand benchmark? In English we say, just like, for a carpenter, say he wants to make 20 tables exactly the same. If he takes a piece of wood and he cuts, this is the length I need it, and he takes the first piece, and with the first piece he measures the second piece. Then he takes the second piece that he's cut to measure the third piece, the third for the fourth for the fifth. By the time he gets to number 20, it's a different size than number 1. There has to be a benchmark, a standard, an absolute. For ISKCON devotees, Prabhupada's perspective on spiritual life is our absolute. There are many authorities. You read the commentary of acharyas on Bhagvatam, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath, Baladev. Many come, and sometimes they disagree. They're all have their own perspective, and that's fine. But as ISKCON devotees, our perspective is the perspective that we heard from Srila Prabhupada. And if that's not honored, then what will ISKCON become in a few generations? This is a concern for Prabhupada disciples, those of us that are left, those of us that are still active in spiritual life. Prabhupada was also concerned, how will things go on in my absence? We're also concerned. His disciples, his direct disciples, are also concerned. How will things go on when we see deviation? When we see people minimizing the principles he taught? When we see people thinking they become a big kirtaniya because they grew a beard and wear a big tulsi mala and don't even follow the principles, but they're a good singer, they're a good musician. This will ruin ISKCON. Our principle are the principles that Srila Prabhupada taught us coming through parampara. Without that, what is the meaning to ISKCON? What is the meaning? Then ISKCON will become simply another religious organization with many different points of view. If there's going to be cooperation, if there's going to be solidarity between the different gurus, between the different communities, the Western community, the Indian community, the European community, the Africans, the Chinese, such diverse community. My God, such diverse community. Impossible proposition. But what will bring us all together? What has the power to bring us all together? Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Where will we find shelter? Where will we find bhakti? Sadma means the abode. Where is it that you will find bhakti? Where will the Africans find bhakti? The Americans, the Chinese, the Europeans, the Indians? Where will we all find bhakti? Where will we find solidarity between such diverse communities? We'll find it at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, whose Guru Puja we observe every single day in every ISKCON temple around the world. This is unique in the history of Vaishnavism, in the history of even Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that Guru Puja was once a year. Prabhupada instituted this for a specific reason, because he is the glue that can hold all ISKCON, the diverse ISKCON communities together. And if we don't do that, then what is ISKCON? What will ISKCON become? Because why? Yoga nashta parampatapa. The nature of this world is that entropy, that things become gradually disintegrated. They become gradually corrupt. So how to avoid disintegration, how to avoid corruption, is to keep Prabhupada's instructions sanctified, sacrosanct, to keep them as the center of ISKCON's success, the center of ISKCON's prosperity, the center of ISKCON's sanctity. If we neglect that, what is ISKCON? Just a bunch of people, with their own opinions that, okay, we do kirtan together, we all eat prasadam, we all chant Krishna's name. That's all great. But if we're going to be manifest the power of Prabhupada's society, then we have to keep ourselves at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. And that is, as Prabhupada says here, this is to understand, Prabhupada writes, to understand God and the devotee by the parampara system is the process of knowledge. So who is that devotee? Who is that quintessential devotee who plays such an important role, who should be playing such an important role in every devotee's life? That is Srila Prabhupada. Once, many years ago, it was Vyas Puja, Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And as we know, Janmashtami is intense time. There's making so many offerings and staying up late, chanting extra japa, intense service mood. So people go, and there's all this all this Mahaprasadam left over. After, on Prabhupada's appearance day, one devotee found a brahmachari, the big plate full of rasgulla and burfi and sweets and halava, sabji, puri. He's eating a big feast, 9 o'clock in the morning. The devotee asked the Prabhu, today is a fast day. This is Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. Why are you not fasting? He said, oh, Prabhupada's not he's not my guru. So what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What have you not understood about what is this ISKCON society? Prabhupada is your guru. He is all of our gurus. And if we don't understand that as a society, then we lose. There's no glue to hold ISKCON together. And there's no standard. There's no agreement. There's no solidarity. This is a very, very important thing. This is how we understand parampara system in our ISKCON society. Prabhupada said ISKCON is a branch. He writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that ISKCON is a branch of the Chaitanya tree. We're not the trunk. There's many other branches. But we're a branch of the Chaitanya tree, a unique branch of the Chaitanya tree, that through whom Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world by the blessing of Srila Prabhupada. What Srila Prabhupada accomplished is extraordinary. Ramanujacharya never left India. Madhvacharya never left India. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur never left India. Such an extraordinary accomplishment Srila Prabhupada did. We should reflect on that and feel so blessed to have a relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And how do we establish that? Hear from him. Read his books. Reading his books is hearing from him. Why? Because Prabhupada didn't write his books with pen and paper. He spoke his books. Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chetete Korea Aikya. We sing this every day. Let my consciousness be purified by the words emanating from your lotus mouth. Prabhupada's books are the words emanating from his lotus mouth. And when you sit and read Prabhupada's books, you're as good as sitting in the same room with Srila Prabhupada and hearing him speak directly to you. Srila Prabhupada gave an example. He said, just like Arjuna. Arjuna was hearing from Krishna. Someone may say, well, that's well and good for Arjuna, but I wasn't there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Prabhupada said, when you hear Bhagavad Gita, the words that came from the mouth of Lord Krishna, you're as good as Arjuna. So when we read Prabhupada's books, when you hear his lecture, you're as good as sitting in the same room, hearing from him face to face. Don't doubt this. Prabhupada's books are very, very powerful because he said, Krishna dictated these books to me. What author reads his own books? I read my own books because these are not my books. These books are dictated to me by Krishna. Such divine, inconceivably wonderful resource we have in Srila Prabhupada's books. So associate with Prabhupada by reading his books. Associate with Prabhupada by repeating what you learned from his books. Associate with Prabhupada by pushing on the society that was his life and soul, that he gave his blood, sweat, and tears to establish. Be an example of what Prabhupada talked about, of what we read about in Shastra, what has come to us by parampara. So we should consider all these things when we hear about what is parampara and what is authority. How did Narada Muni get recognized by Lord Indra? Such a puffed up guy. So I am Indra, and he's like the boss. He's the chief of all the demigods. But he's bowing down to Narada Muni. He's taking instruction from Narada Muni to protect Prahlad Maharaj within the womb of his mother. So devotee has the most respectable position in society. And we should not neglect that because the public loves to see a fault in devotees. Alpa Chidra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Alpa Chidra. If there's a huge white sheet hanging on the clothesline, everyone will see the small black spot, Alpa Chidra. The whole sheet is white, but there's some little black spot. Say, oh, look at the black spot. The public is like that with religious organizations. If there's some fault, they love to find fault with spiritual organizations. What does that mean for us? That we should be faultless in our behavior. We should be examples of what we preach. Practice what we preach. Walk our talk. Be examples of Krishna consciousness, what we read about in Shastra. Samodamatapasocham kantar arjavamevacham jnana vijnanamastakam brahma karma swabhavajam. Prabhupada wanted to create a class of brahmanas, spiritual teachers, examples to society of what it means to be a devotee. You want to create Vaishnavas, not just Brahmins, but Vaishnavas in every class of human being. Persons who are sold out servants of God and Guru. And by that, prakashante mahatmana, everything is revealed to us. Even you're illiterate. Everything, Prabhupada told stories, South Indian Brahmin. His guru told him, read Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters every day. So he can't read. People are laughing at him. He's turning the pages. Mahaprabhu came and said, why? You're illiterate. Why are you doing like that? I see you're crying. Why are you crying? The Brahmin said, because when I think of how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parameshwara, is being controlled by his devotee, how Krishna is serving his devotee. When I see this picture of Bhagavad Gita, I cry. My Lord is so merciful. Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have understood Bhagavad Gita. Prakashante Mahatma. Why? Because he had faith in Guru and he had faith in Shastra. Had faith in God and faith in Guru. And Prakashante Mahatmana. Everything is revealed to him. And we can expect the same result if we maintain our faith in God and in Srila Prabhupada and in your Diksha Guru. And then with this strength, ISKCON can spread everywhere and become the society Srila Prabhupada expected it to be. Anyone has any comment or question? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, always Mr. Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam.
Such a wonderful exposition of Srila Prabhupada's mercy that he spread all over the Mahaprabhu's mercy that Srila Prabhupada carried all over the world. That fruition of that verse, Kirata Hudandra Hudinda Pulkasa Avira Sundha Khasa Dasa, everybody got
Yavana
delivered.
Akasaya.
Yes, so I mean, never in the history, even in the other yugas also, they were all corrupt straight. That means they were giving taxes. Like in the Yudhishthir's kingdom, they were all giving taxes. Word bhakti, the Bhagavad Dharma, spread all over the world. It's a wonder. I mean, it's a miracle. All grace to Srila Prabhupada. Yes.
Prabhupada created a miracle. See it. We take it for granted. See
Yeah.
the miracle Prabhupada created. See it in yourself. Sometimes if I examine my life, Prabhu, I can only think, how is it possible that a sinful dog like me came to Krishna consciousness? Only by Prabhupada's mercy. Only by Prabhupada's mercy. More merciful than Lord Nityananda.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I'm not fortunate like you, born in Bharatiya, born in India.
But
Krishna Bhakti is second nature. Krishna Bhakti is second nature to you. No one had to tell you the sanctity of Gita, of bhajan, of mandir, of mantra. From your birth, you understand that. Prabhupada picked up people from all over the world and made them devotees.
But all that matters is that at the end, because of your surrender to the Guru, you have realized the mercy, you have received the mercy all the way after Krishna, and a lot of people, even if born in land of Bharatvarsha, and they still unfortunate to receive that mercy. So that is a difference. I know you want to be humble, but we know the depth of your knowledge and detachment and devotion. Knows no bounds, Prabhu. I have one question. So thank you for your kind explanation and your nectarian words that purify in this group. Please to pay us a visit and will release your aspiration, Prabhu. I have one question regarding you're saying that entropy can set in and does set in um, and comes, I mean, is become apparent from time to time. In that regard, our basis is Srila Prabhupada's book. So in the my question is regarding the GBC's voting regulation. So if a particular thing has to be decided upon, the Siddhanta has to be by Vedic parampara. The Siddhanta has to be, if Siddhanta has to be zeroed on, then it has to be argued. It's not a voted. It's not a democracy. It's a meritocracy. So why
Prabhu,
is it?
you have understood perfectly. We cannot create Siddhanta by votes.
Yeah.
This is offensive to even think that we can create Siddhanta by votes. Okay, all in favor that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, raise your hand. All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, no, we accept Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Indra Vyakalam Lokam Mridayanti Yoge Yoge, that Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. He's Supreme Lord. We don't vote to establish his position. We don't vote to establish Siddhanta. Siddhanta is coming to us through parampara. This 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 is another class. In fact, one of my godbrothers, this is controversial thing, but I'm a true speaker. One of my revered godbrothers, Srimad Gaur Govinda Maharaj, left this world because they're going to throw him out because of his disagreeing on this very point, that you cannot create Siddhanta by votes. And he said, he told us, his disciples said, we'll just create our own society. We'll leave ISKCON. He said, I'll never leave ISKCON. I'll cut my head before I leave ISKCON. So he didn't leave ISKCON. He left this world out of frustration because they're going to throw him out of ISKCON because of his preaching Shastra, preaching Siddhanta, preaching Parampara. This is a historical fact. Sad historical fact. So you're correct, absolutely correct. We do not establish Siddhanta by votes.
Yeah. So when will this voting thing go away? And arguments come in the GVC.
Some things we can vote on, but not Siddhanta. Yeah, where shall we hold our Janmashtami celebration? What will we offer? All those in favor, no problem. But not Siddhanta. Don't touch Siddhanta. Don't try and fix something that's not broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other question? Comment?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this nectar class and explaining so nicely about Srila Prabhupada and how we should be dedicated to Srila Prabhupada mission and keep unflinching faith on his teachings and our Diksha Guru. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I don't have any question. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you for your kind words.
Panchakalpatruva Sindhu
Paditanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai Namacharya Shardas Thakur ki jai Prabhupada ki jai His Grace Sarvadrik Prabhu ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.